Humanity bows to a sacred white beast because I am the absolute peak scientific marvel and their ultimate savior against savage towering monsters. Coursing through my veins is the sovereign monster bloodline, fused with the DNA of ancient mythical titans. Within my very core, daily, massive legions are deployed to brush my coat, offering grand feasts of raw meat as heavy tribute. But recently, an unknown dark anomaly awakened within my gut. Every ounce of life force I devour is instantly swallowed by it, despite my heaven-shaking roars each day. Those blind scientists remain completely oblivious to my agonizing starvation. The sole mortal who proved useful was Marcus. Through rare brief visits, his crimson elixir fueled my mighty spirit for days. Now he has vanished. And when I attempt to warn my handler, Alex, the fool comprehends absolutely nothing. Madness consumes my starving soul. Truthfully, I cannot blame the man. To his feeble mind, serving 10% of my massive weight in raw flesh is a glorious feast. Surely it satisfies my beastly hunger. So he suspects absolutely nothing. He blindly believes mere tantrums drive my rage. But now, my gaze burns crimson. My patience shatters, unleashing a sky-tearing roar. I explode upward and easily vault their weak barricade, executing another legendary escape. Alert! The divine beast breached. Target is out. Crimson sirens erupt across the compound. Shockingly, the command center stays chillingly composed. Lawrence, the spectacled boss, smoothly sips his daily brew, unfazed, turning to white. Do you? Any bets on this white tiger's escape? 1 hour tops. I give it 30 minutes. Honestly, who could ever blame this crew for slacking off? That white beast is purely the most brilliant and tame creature they have ever handled. Even when my body aches, I just unleash one polite, low roar to command their gaze. Then, I gracefully bow my head for their tiny health checks. Just compare me to those savage, bloodthirsty carnivores. Even a peaceful triceratops constantly fights with these foolish humans. And with their colossal frames, one misstep sends a fragile human soaring toward death. Beside them, my majestic, tranquil aura makes me look absolutely angelic. What is happening here? A frigid voice slices the air. The two lazy guards instantly flinch, standing at strict attention, as if dodging a lethal strike. The rest, caught completely off guard, who were just wasting their time, instantly abandon their useless little devices. One bark from their commanding officer, and the room shifts into survival mode. Every terrified gaze violently locks onto their glowing screens. Boss Elena absorbs this pathetic display without blinking once, having walked that exact same path. She completely feels their raw desperation. Plus, she knows perfectly well how docile that supreme white beast truly is. A minor breakout means nothing, but absolute authority must remain. That beast has a tracking device. Display his current coordinates now and predict his hunting path. Understood. Ma'am, but wait. Lawrence's sharp eyes widen. He violently slams data on screen, totally paralyzed by the terrifying digital trail. Everyone who dares to witness that monitor feels their jaw hit the cold floor. Am I hallucinating this? No. My eyes see the nightmare too. What nobody can. No one blames Lawrence for cursing because on screen, a crimson dot blazes at 100 hourly. Even more insane, the beast tears straight through dark woods in a flawless straight line. Elena spots this terror, but her icy focus as ops manager holds firm. She barks out sharp orders. Pull every camera feed on that path. I need a live view of the white beast. Right this instant. Also, warn everyone in its path to evacuate right now. Blast sonic waves to force the dinosaurs far away from. There we cannot risk cross-contact. As Elena's sharp commands echo out, the tense room explodes into action. The rapid clacking of keyboards brings a strange, odd hope. Where is Dr. Vu? I need him. Here right now. Elena snaps at her terrified assistant. She knows nothing about the tiger. Just that. It is the newest mutant born from the Dark Fusion Lab. Even Alex knows more details. She runs base ops. Not the Twisted Beast husbandry team. She fakes the science talk. But she is no gene expert at all. Dr. Vu took a call and rushed off to Chicago. He will be gone for a month. Damn it, the news hits. Elena hard. Her face darkens. She slams the desk in pure rage. And her mind instantly curses the slow building crew for delaying the barricade. After my first breakout, the terrified team realized my leap. Power was way beyond their guesses, and decided to quickly construct a 30-foot wall to cage a monster, 5 meters long. Given my insane growth rate, that was Phase 1. Phase 2 needs 50 feet. 4 months. Soon, the massive wall towers at 25 feet. The lazy crew clocks out on the 8-hour mark every single day. And she is completely powerless to stop them. If this were an Eastern crew, they would have finished the job in 2 months. Notify the containment team. Deploy the elite retrieval squad fully armed. Bring that beast back. We have done this before. Remember, this is just another routine capture. Claire mutters the words, even as doubt gnaws at her soul. Subduing a 300-kilogram Tiger King and wrangling a massive 3-ton tiger-shaped monster are 2 entirely different realms of danger. But now, she can only pray her squad survives, and that the white tiger remains the same gentle giant as before. Just dwelling on it makes Elena furious. Who in the world is even strong enough to handle this? Call our elite keeper, ask him how exactly he has been managing our legendary beast. There is no need to call. I am already here. Alex marches in with Davis, dominating the room. The imposing, black-suited security guard who tries to block them takes one look at the massive, broad-shouldered warrior towering over him and instantly retreats without uttering a sound. Elena refuses to flinch. With blazing fury carved across her face, she fiercely steps forward. I want to know exactly how our Star Keeper has been taking care of our prized monster. Alex glares right back, his own wrath ready to boil over completely. Well, I would love to know what kind of tiger reaches 16 feet long and gets crowned as a legendary Far East giant tiger on top of it. And do you know it leaped 25 feet right in front of my own eyes? If not for its gentle nature and total apathy toward humanity, I swear, not a single soul on that site would have survived the slaughter. Elena knows she is dead wrong here, but she is a victim in this nightmare. 2. She has no idea what DNA Dr. Vu injected. That is a mystery for him. Not myself. But then, where is Dr. Vu? Alex, having held a respect for the kindly scholar, now views him as totally insane, perfectly willing to fuse any mutation without a single pause. Listen up. Ladies and gentlemen, the feed is live. Look closely. Lawrence's shout breaks the tension. Both factions seize the chance to retreat. Every gaze snaps back onto the monitor through the hidden lenses. The video shows a brutal trench carved deep into the woods, a scene that instills pure dread. Colossal woods that once stood tall and united now lay crushed and obliterated, their ruined bases jagged and torn, wood shards scattered around like some absolute titan had rampaged brutally forward. Broken logs rest, discarded, across the dirt in all ways, their vibrant crowns now a twisted ruin. The peaceful, wild silence is dead, swamped for a realm of pure chaos. Dirt is brutally gouged and broken, littered with stones of all the scales, and the atmosphere reeks of sap from snapped timber and newly dug dirt. He caused this. Alex can hardly accept it. In his era beside the snowy tiger, he saw it tenderly avoid even the weakest sprout, acting like hurting fragile nature was evil. Nothing mirrored this blind, raging slaughter. I think so. Elena covers both palms softly on her mouth, choking back a terrified gasp. She thinks a brachiosaurus had charged wildly through here. Just look at that one. Hearing Davis, the trio shifts their eyes toward a fallen oak on the side of the screen. Based on the wreckage at the scene, that fallen titan had a trunk at least 2 feet across. Yet, the direction it fell suggests something monstrous crashed into it with godlike force. It just does not look like something a carbon-based life form could do. And as the camera pans, the view bursts out of the woods and onto the open grassland. Everyone stares at what is there and gasps in awe. Oh my God. Right now, every inch of my body is screaming in pure agony. The feeling is like 1,000 cursed insects crawling wild beneath my flesh. From skin to muscle to bone, not a single part rests in peace. My muscles burn as though I have just survived a hellish physical trial, heavy, as if filled with lead. Every move demands overwhelming effort, yet is completely clashing with the wind-splitting speed I am running at right now. And the faster I dash, the more I feel seals unlocking inside me. Like someone who has never been able to run, taking their very first strides and claiming destiny that was always meant to be theirs. More than the numbing tingle surging through my whole body, what I feel most sharply is my own skeleton creaking like it might shatter into dust at any second. That is the kind of pain that pierces straight to the soul. Meanwhile, deep inside my gut, that bizarre crystal core violently pulses like mad, thumping even faster than my own heart. From that abyss, I feel a primal hunger roaring through every cell in my body. I need to devour now, ever, since Marcus first appeared. And judging by the monstrous size I have grown to, I realized long ago I am a gene fusion hybrid. 2. I just have zero clue what is truly hidden in my genetic blueprint. These terrifying awakening symptoms must be coming from whatever cursed DNA they spliced into me. Ever since I began clashing with Alex, my physical form has kept evolving at a terrifyingly rapid pace, to the point where my dearest allies would hardly recognize my face anymore. And on top of that, I've realized I can mimic the legendary Indominus Rex abilities. I trigger thermal vision and true optical camouflage. I even noticed my stripes now glow upon command. What am I? Some firefly. But none of that matters. Right now, the true nightmare is I'm losing my sanity to this raw hunger. Scanning with thermal vision, I detect a deader cluster of massive heat sources to the south. Dinosaurs. Obviously. I am past caring about their size or sheer numbers. Right now, all I truly desire is to slaughter one and feast, fully pushing my body to the extreme edge of my speed. Within just 3 or 4 short minutes, I explode onto the open plains. A feline's absolute greatest natural weapons are silent stealth and explosive power. Those unrivaled, elongated fangs and bone-crushing bite force make it the true apex predator in all of nature. The second I burst forth, I find myself face to face with a towering triceratops, almost 3 meters tall, 8 meters long, topped off by a massive armored frill, 2 gigantic brow horns and a deadly nose. Horn. A literal walking tank. The beast flinches at my sudden arrival, but rapidly regains its composure. 10 tons of muscle and a colossal frame grant it all the pure confidence it needs. From where that stands, I likely appear no larger than a pathetic newborn. So it shoots me a low warning growl, drops its head, and thrusts those razor horns right at me, attempting to bully me into backing away. But as always, a tiger's naturally. Laying low makes me just too easy to overlook, especially for massive beasts who have never faced my kind before. Facing down a triceratops that clearly mocks my presence, I harbor zero intention of backing down or retreating. I do not even waste a roar. I simply explode straight forward. The horned beast instinctively dips its skull, flaring its giant bony frill. A stance meant to look truly terrifying, enough to shatter average predators. But it hands me the ultimate opening. I spin my body at breakneck midair speed, a deadly art I mastered merely for amusement, making this execution completely effortless. A basic frontal assault transforms instantly into a devastating diagonal slash, landing brutally hard against the beast's exposed flank. The instant I hit, I keep flowing, every limb aligns in pure, flawless feline grace. I propel off the earth the very second I land, turning our direct face-to-face clash into me violently crushing the side of its vulnerable throat. By the time it desperately spins to face me, I am already striking. Its lowered guard has left its upper neck totally defenseless. I sink my fangs deep. The beast jolts from agonizing pain, frantically jerking back, angling its bony shield to guard its neck again. But time has run out. I have its windpipe locked in my jaws, my two massive claws moving in perfect sync, left paw pinning its heavy skull down as it struggles to escape. My right paw anchors mercilessly into its spine. Then over 5 tons of pure crushing force explodes into the kill. Power enough to shatter solid steel armor, easily obliterating the most critical weakness of any living beast. The throat, with its airway completely shattered. The dime proves, giant loses all life force. Its wide-open eyes freeze in absolute horror at the exact instant of its demise. This whole fight ends in mere seconds. I kept it swift and clean. I'm no monster. I simply needed to feed. The second the massive beast goes down, the nearby prey completely scatters far away, as they can, desperate to put maximum distance between their fragile bodies and the blood-soaked apex predator in sight. Honestly, I welcome the dead silence. I dig into my kill without wasting time. Fueled by complete starvation, there is zero room for manners. I dive straight for the leg. Listen up. Let us be crystal clear. Our prey tonight is not the tiny cub from 4 months ago. We are hunting an absolute titan. A walking, prehistoric nightmare. I need every last man at 200%. Hamida preps his rifle, warning his elite strike team exactly how deadly and completely ruthless this mission is. Yes, sir. They all serve together in the same fierce mercenary squad today. And he absolutely refuses to lose a single man on this drop. Weapons loaded and gripped tight. The grim captain boards the lead armored transport. With one sharp signal, the assault convoy moves. The vibe starts surprisingly relaxed. After all, they handled that white beast just 4 months prior. And it was a total breeze back then. Fully domesticated. Let us. I hope this capture goes as smoothly this time. Yeah, it was perfectly behaved. On my shifts, I watched the furball dash outside like a pet. Chill out. Just a tiger. 4 months. How massive could it possibly have grown? These arrogant and battle-hardened soldiers know absolutely nothing about genetic anomalies. But they understand one undeniable truth. Every single beast in this hellhole is a monster. Even the thing that looks like an ordinary harmless tiger They hit the kill zone marked by GPS coordinates. The armored transports grind to a halt. Heavy doors slam open. The squad steps out. Combat boots heavily hitting the dirt. They tighten the gear. Secure the heavy packs. Straps pulled taut. Facing the restless woods. Looming ahead. Eerily calm. Deceptively peaceful. Hamada gives the signal. Weapons at ready. He charges forward. The squad falling right behind. Advancing steadily on foot. Every single footstep echoes with terrifying clarity through this dead forest. As if no living soul remains anywhere near. What on earth this? Massive path violently ripped straight through ancient trees by pure, monstrous force. Hits, like a devastating blow to the gut. Like a colossal tank annihilated this path. I swear this beast was in frantic haste. Hamada ignores the nervous joke. He slowly cruises, scooping a handful of the crushed earth. Just feeling the soil between his fingers reveals the terrifying truth. The dampness. Heavy density. Pure freshness. Fresh and compacted like stone. He forces his grip just to crush the compressed stones. That detail alone proves the overwhelming power that marched through here. These tracks are brand new. The monster awaits. Everyone, check your weapons one last time. March out. They push forward in tactical formation, covering flanks until reaching the absolute edge, where the dark woods break into plains. The second they step beyond the tree line, suffocating dread vanishes from every single, beating heart at once. What can anyone say? Their sanctuary's most obedient apex predator truly lives up to its legendary title. There, beside the slaughtered remains of a triceratops, lies a majestic beast standing stories high. At the shoulder, resting peacefully. Its snowy fur rising and falling with every breath. Like a massive, living mountain. Back at the main control center, everyone exhales a deep sigh over this tranquil sight. Thank heavens. Just one fallen triceratops. Perfectly within acceptable damage limits. But exactly how much does it weigh anyway? Eagle-eyed Alex suddenly spots what everyone missed. His focused gaze isn't on the sleeping beast. It's on how eerily spotless the surrounding zone is. 0 dinosaurs in sight. And that triceratops skeleton. Way too clean for comfort. A fully grown beast is 3 to 4 meters tall. Is 6 to 8 meters. Weighing 8 to 10 tons. Just how much meat can it offer? He catches whispers from the scientists nearby and realizes everyone here is a massive dino nerd, himself included. Naturally, everyone is dying to flex their knowledge. But right now, Alex only wants to know about the white tiger sleeping out there. How much did it devour? The Triceratops genes we used were not pure. We enhanced them with some cow traits. So its meat yield comes to roughly 60 to 70% of total weight. So, that beast out there gave close to 5 tons of meat. Right. In theory, yes. Alex begins kicking the nearby gear in pure rage. Elena glares at him like he lost his mind. Does he know how pricey that gear is, and why is eating more a big deal? The last time they checked the white tiger stats, he weighed 2.7 tons and stood 2 meters. Now, he nears 3. With Davis explaining the math, Elena finally grasps how terrifying this is. He ate twice his own body mass in food, devoured it, digested it, and actually grew way larger. Is that even possible? If Marcus was here, he could easily spin a crazy reason for this. To hide what he built inside me. He had already mapped thousands of species. The true peak performers across the entire performers' natural world. but Dr. Vu is gone right now. We cannot get that gene map from him. Yet looking at this mess, the beast was merely starving. Once stuffed, he should return without a fuss. Elena casually brushes it off. Just a single triceratops. Rare. Inside these walls. Perhaps. But definitely not irreplaceable. Capture squad. Bring the snowy predator immediately. Orders received, the Vater Snowy Sin says. Tactical unit creeps forward, spreading wide to trap their target completely. But Hameda, leading the charge, spots something chilling. Those violet runes across that towering furry beast are pulsating with light. And the sinister radiance accelerates rapidly. He forces the panic away. Subdue the monster first. Demand answers afterward. Honestly, it might simply be Firefly genetics. Correct. Yet, the split second he aims his dart rifle to shoot, those symbols on the giant flash blindingly like a ticking explosive about to detonate. Everyone retreat immediately, hearing his roar. The squad leaps away on raw reflex. And right then, the brilliant aura blasting from my massive frame hits critical mass with a deafening roar. A catastrophic wave of energy erupts. This pulse, appearing completely harmless, ripples outward with me at the Fey core, engulfing the whole damned island, everywhere it touches. Absolutely all tech gets instantly fried. Instantly. What on earth is happening? The transport died, and my screen went completely dark. Inside the command room, all monitors blink out in a flash. Luckily, the emergency generators roar to life, and a few camera streams slowly static their way onto the central screens. Do not panic. It is merely a power glitch. We will fix it momentarily. And the reserve grid is fully operational. Seeing the crew panic, while Elena's face turns grim and furious, Alex opens his mouth to speak. But Davis snatches his wrist and glares sharply. Alex obediently trails him, leaving without a single word. What is happening? Alex watches his comrade move with frantic urgency, completely failing to grasp why. Yet, years of battling side by side scream at him. Something massive is brewing. Do you not realize inside? They will only feed us the fabricated lies they want us to hear. The only path to the absolute truth is to hunt it down ourselves. What exactly are you plotting? Doing what we do best. Alex catches that signature smirk and beams. Let us dive into the madness. At that exact moment, a brutal shockwave erupts across a colossal dome facility, located on the northeastern edge of the island. The eyes of a terrifying beast suspended within a central containment tank barely twitch. Hamada frantically smashes his stun baton trigger, praying to the heavens it is merely a glitch. But the weapon remains dead. That agonizing silence crushes the final fragment of bravery he possesses. Because in this nightmare, he is drowning in a freezing sweat, his uniform sticking tightly to his skin, that sickening icy dread churning his stomach, the suffocating heat radiating from just ahead. Hamada's body violently convulses without stopping. His terrified gaze locks onto the monstrous skull glaring down from above. Without a doubt, that colossal maw could devour his upper half entirely. The skull alone spans over 1 meter wide. Hold on. The file claimed just over 2 meters tall. You call this? Ceiling scraping height just over 2 meters. It is almost 3 meters. Generously rounded down to 2. He must leap just to graze its terrifying shoulder, while it could extinguish his existence with a mere flick. His paralyzed squad stares up helplessly at the towering pale beast before them, fighting desperately to keep their sanity intact. Yet the primal terror leaks through completely, pupils shrinking in sheer horror, sweat dripping uncontrollably, weapon-clutching hands violently quivering, knuckles turned bone white from the tense. Standing on open ground, facing a 3-meter mutated tiger. None of them dare to even try running. In close combat, even elite tribal hunters need 8 warriors to strike down one lion. But this beast is a tiger, a giant genetic freak. True combat is suicide. You remember me, right? Hamada gambles, keeping his place, tone totally steady. He visited often, after all. And honestly, no one in this whole facility hates me. Petting a massive white beast. Who'd hate that I glare down at the puny human? Honestly, faces blur together. Every outsider looks exactly the same to me. Aside from a few famous idols I barely recognize. Roar. I unleash a low growl just to prove I heard him. Then I pivot, walking back to base. The squad watches this massive monster start moving, but it's heading straight for the cage. The crushing dread finally fades. Good. Still the same tamed beast. Boss. What is our move? What do you think? Sprint to the trucks and grab your gear. He smacks the rookie's empty head. Sometimes he truly questions what goes on inside these idiots' brains. Absolute trash. Even if it acts docile right now, it still has the raw power to slaughter every one of them without even breaking a sweat. Without armed weapons, how can anyone feel safe? Move out. In the command room, Elena tracks the red signal pulsing right back to the starting cage. Exhaling deeply. Okay. Team, the crisis is fully over. Seems the white beast remains just the same pet we raised. He's returning. I detect a massive anomaly over here. What now? Elena turns, sighing. She feels utterly drained. Running on, quiet for days. Just warning alarms blaring endlessly. He is heading back. What new disaster could unfold now? Prehistoric beast signals are flashing danger alerts. All of them are facing sheer peril. Tracking the alert coordinates. Their path will collide with the massive white tiger. Can we get visual feeds? I am trying. Damn. After mashing the keys for a solid minute, nothing loads. Just dead static and broken. Data fills the screen as he slams the console, one last time in pure rage. That bizarre energy pulse. It fried every single camera out there. Send a warning to the Vanguard. Maximum alert. If they face bizarre phenomena, lock it down instantly. Deep in the ancient woods, a giant white tiger prowls ahead without a worldly care at all. 2 armored human vehicles trail near, looking far less like captors and much more like royal escorts. Catching the frantic message from command, the captain stares at my giant form. I could rest my head on their steel roof. He figures the cowards back at base are panicking over nothing. Who would dare mess with a divine beast my size? Honestly, he bets even a savage apex predator would flee in fear. My leg muscles show pure dominance, and I pay zero mind to the fragile humans behind me. I am entirely focused on my own body. Since that prey, the bizarre crystal core inside me feels far more active now, as if finally deeply nourished. As for that unknown energy wave I supposedly triggered while sleeping, I vaguely recall the aura, but it felt about as meaningful to me as a simple sneeze. Whatever chaos it caused, I have no idea. Now, all I desire is my den and deep slumber to recover. As for those frail humans, I truly could not care less. Defeating a Triceratops means nothing. I spotted a massive herd roaming the open grasslands. A mutated beast like me is truly unique. And at the absolute minimum, I rival the legendary power of the Indominus Rex. Plus, considering the mercy I have shown, and my priceless value to this sanctuary, I absolutely outrank some foolish herbivore. Empowered by my solid logic, I feel truly invincible, leagues beyond what I was. As long as I spare the frail humans, I rule this entire domain like a god. Suddenly, I freeze. I stare blankly at giant trunks I casually pulverized on my rampage through the forest. My heavy elbow barely even grazed the rough bark while I was charging blindly. I raise my massive limb against the splintered gap. I evolved again. Right, I stare at my glowing purple claws. Then at the crushed transport vehicle nearby. My single paw completely dwarfs the hood of the machine. How terrifyingly huge will I grow? Nobody truly knows. I am barely 1 year old. Yet apex predators take at least 3 or 4 years. Ugh. That burning again. I find an ancient tree nearby, shift my weight, and fiercely scrape my back, specifically targeting the aching shoulder blades against the rough bark. Ah, sweet salvation. But ever since I devoured that massive prey, the itch in my shoulders has escalated into pure, agonizing torment. And this is no shallow surface itch. It pulses deep beneath the flesh, viciously drilling directly into my very bones. I absolutely cannot grasp this mutation. Am I sprouting actual wings? Basic physics must absolutely apply. Humans love imagining a winged beast is the ultimate invincible monster combination. But the harsh reality is my brutal physical frame already dominates nature totally. Slap wings onto this titan, and my daily calorie consumption would become absolutely apocalyptic. Flying creatures. To fly demands absolute sacrifice. They shed all excess body weight, shrinking their organs completely, so they hold zero waste. Whatever enters drops right back out. Thus, wings on a giant beast like me would just be useless ornaments today. Plus, frankly, I might fail to find power to soar. I refuse to turn into just some pathetic, flightless bird. Tiny humans trailing me watch this epic tiger casually rub against a massive 3-foot trunk, the dense bark tearing and screaming under my raw power, staring at the broken wood in shock. Did that wood really snap? Finally, the itch vanishes entirely now, and I spare the broken wood. Our bizarre convoy. One king guiding humans. Resumes. Yet danger lurks nearby. Very close. Why do I sense a burning heat on my right? And why is it rushing closer so fast? In a heartbeat. That fiery presence is under 500 meters out. I glare intensely toward the hidden danger. Dropping low. All muscles tense tight. Hamada catches my lethal stance. Halting. The transport's dead. My violent aura clearly screams that a deadly monster is hunting us. Captain. Ready for combat. Everyone, arm yourselves now. He rallies his terrified squad fast, shifting them into strict combat lines, wildly huddling them tight to my massive sides for pure protection. They stand by my dark, menacing breaths echoing. Yet, while resting, it sounds like the roar of an ancient monster, shaking the earth like a roaring engine revving. Boom, the enemy nears. Massive, heavy footsteps violently shake the earth. All the humans choke on pure, paralyzing fear. Crash. Trees fully shatter as the dark shadow finally reveals itself. With me primed for pure carnage, and my human escorts. The crew watching via the monitors in the command room. Every single jaw drops. And no one dares to breathe, because the beast standing before them is horrifyingly unnatural. A twisted baryonyx nightmare stands, in plain view. Its forelimbs reach far enough to scrape the dirt. Razor-sharp spikes erupt down its spine, and its tail bristles with stingers. Like a scorpion, everything screams pure peril. Its hide is dark black, with a snout much shorter than a normal beast. The frightened crew feels overwhelming dread for reasons they cannot explain. Its awful face resembles a human face. It spots me standing ready for battle. And then, suddenly clicks. It leans in, acting like it found its fated prey, and roars loudly. I roar back. Insulted. I am lazy. I hate fighting. Sure, but that never means I am afraid. If anything, seeing this monster challenge me ignites the battle aura I thought was completely dead. Search the archives. I must know what this creature is and where it began. Claire barks the harsh command. Staff members scramble. We found our target. A pure carnivore. That grotesque form screams danger. Nothing good exists in that body. But whatever this is, it is definitely not natural. It is simply another genetic hybrid. Who is behind this without a doubt? Marcus. Claire has seen twisted gene fusion monsters. Whether it is the Indominus Rex locked away, or the surprisingly gentle white tiger. Both are opposites in true nature, but at least they look somewhat majestic. And me, with my bright white and purple fur, am incredibly adorable. Truthfully. But this monster, it looks like a huge scorpion and a savage beast fused into one. That foul mouth, those dead eyes, the eerie hint of a human face, total uncanny valley. Just looking at it makes Claw's skin wildly crawl. Send Squad 2 now. Wait. Are deadly weapons cleared to fire? She freezes at the query. She truly has no clue. She cannot tell if this mutant is a core asset. Nobody warned her when she took the job. Nobody said the park hid this many variants. Making choices hard. Is it a protected key asset or not? Clear the weapons. But under no condition can anyone kill it unless strictly needed. Elena feels torn. Her heavy duty as manager and the sheer value of human lives rip her apart. No choice is easy here. In the end, she can only pray it will play nice like I do, while they debate this grim guest. The real battle begins. Facing this foul beast, I am on high alert. Every sense is maxed out. I try to talk first. What if we share DNA, like Indominus Rex and the raptors? If there is a way to dodge a clash, I will. But when I make a sound, that calm beast instantly shrieks and charges. It chose blood. What can I do? Face it head on. I hate brawling, but I never back down. Two titans crash hard at full speed. The moment they hit, a fierce shockwave rips the air, sending dust spinning everywhere. Almost impossible to pierce. Right after the first clash, I instantly know that its power falls short of mine, and I pull back to reset. I also spot that even though our shoulders match up in height, its long, vile neck simply makes its head tower over mine. Height means nothing. As the Scorpio's Rex strikes again, I stand on my back legs and unleash my most deadly technique, the rapid strike combo. Up on my feet, I tower over 5 meters. I look like a true god of war. I frankly have to angle my fatal strikes downward just to smash its skull. Over 20 tons of raw force hit left, right, left, right. The monster is entirely overwhelmed, stumbling from every blow. But as the strikes stack up, I sense a bad sign. No matter how fiercely I strike it, it gets blown back by the impact. Sure, but it refuses to take any lasting, serious damage. How tough is this beast? As the titans collide, the terrified humans scatter in awe, simply watching this epic dragon and tiger clash. And yet, the crowd feels entirely at ease, because the upper hand is truly mine. To a mortal watching, It really looks like that freakish monster is, freely offering its ugly head to be crushed. After endless heavy blows with zero signs of breaking, I get so bored and change tactics, smashing both claws hard into its long, frail arms before snapping my jaws and locking onto its throat. It survived more damage than I can track, and maybe it has finally learned its lesson, because now, as the Scorpios Rex lunges, it ducks its head low on every rush, even starting to shift into a four-legged sprint. To me, that is fixed by a slight lean, and all it does is serve up its naked upper neck right at my jaw level. So I spot those wicked, backward-facing spikes, armoring its frame. Nothing good ever possessed scales like those. Therefore, instead of risking a deep, full throat bite, I secure a partial lock. Still, my jaws apply terrifying pressure, crushing its airflow. Victory is mine. The second I crush its windpipe, I launch my massive weight forward, slamming the Scorpio's Rex straight into the dirt. This overwhelming dominance exists purely because of my monstrous evolution. Shoulder height surpassing 2.4 meters. Length exceeding 5 meters. Weight easily clearing 6 tons. In sheer mass, I utterly dwarf this freak standing 3.5 meters tall and 8 meters long. And what's truly horrifying, even after mutating far past any normal feline form, I kept an apex predator's absolutely flawless agility. I proved my lethal speed during the Triceratops hunt, navigating a dense, obstacle-packed forest. This arrogant beast thought it could outspeed me. It was always doomed to end up utterly crushed. But right as my fangs sink deeper, locking its throat, ready to squeeze the life from it, my ears catch a razor-sharp whistle slicing the wind beside my ear. Acting completely on raw survival instinct, I violently leap backward. I don't pause to question if it could pierce my hide. I easily hold the absolute advantage. I can secure victory on pure brute strength alone. Why risk everything? No reckless gambles. Just a clean slaughter. And because of my insane reflexes, I narrowly evade what surely was a fatal blindside strike. I practically felt the deadly phantom breeze graze my fur. Planting my paws firmly, I lock my death glare onto the Scorpio's Rex. While it wildly scrambles fully upright, I finally see the weapon that just barely missed me. A tail bristling with venomous stingers. It coils back, primed to strike again. One single glance confirms it's an absolute, dripping with deadly poison. Just one strike could instantly drop a massive titan. The Scorpio's Rex forces itself upright, glaring at the foe who effortlessly slammed it straight into the dirt without blinking. Had it not whipped that spiked tail at the absolute last second, this battle would be finished. The apex predator that always thought itself invincible now slowly retreats in sheer terror. Watching it cower, I assume it's terrified and preparing to flee. However, until it vanishes completely from my sight, I keep every muscle fiercely coiled. I have zero desire to chase it down and battle to the bitter end. Why bother? I am here to live comfortably as a heavily protected beast, not to throw my precious life away in a useless brawl. Yeah, that is right. Just back away and leave me in peace. I roar my warning, whether the beast understands a single word. To me, it is just like trash talking after a brutal street brawl before walking away. Yet, right as the Scorpio's Rex seems ready to flee, the fully armed human guards nearby suddenly gain a foolish surge of confidence and quietly begin to creep closer. I watch the entire pathetic display from right beside them, seeing everything clearly. And one of them has already raised a heavy capture launcher, ready to fire a trap net. Are these fools serious? Just because I crushed it does not mean those weaklings can. And look at their stun batons. Completely drained. What do they think this is a simple cattle drive? Someone even grabbed a pathetic lasso pole. As these idiots inch closer, creeping into the optimal striking range of their pitiful weapons, something suddenly triggers the Scorpio's wreck. Maybe my dominating roar provoked it. Or perhaps those creeping humans triggered its survival instincts. For it roars and violently charges. Any thought I had of letting this slide dissolves into pure, burning irritation. I offered you a clean escape. And this is how you repay my mercy. I launch forward on 4 ready limbs, charging straight back into battle. It ends now. My mercy is gone. The monstrous beast suddenly shifts. It drops into a desperate dash, using elongated limbs. Pathetic. Its speed plummets compared to before. It cannot match my agility. As we clash, my legendary strike crushes its ugly skull into dirt. The beast's sheer momentum deeply rips a massive crater in the soil, crushed by my sheer dominance. Its forelegs shatter against the ruins. Frail arms cannot push back. It yields completely. Even its thrashing back legs fail to stand. I seize this fatal opening instantly. As it falls, I smash both paws downward with devastating power. Then, my lethal fangs sink deep into its exposed throat. Snap! The fierce battle is over. Once fangs pierce prey, fate is sealed permanently. Human spectators, merely watching this terrifying scene, violently shiver to their very cores. They finally realize a brutal truth. Without devastating heavy weapons, mortals cannot survive on this savage realm of titans. Inside command, Elena sees my epic roar, a fatal one-shot strike. Her mind battles heavy internal conflict. Shaking her head, she dismisses anxieties. Wherever that beast originated, it is Marcus's burden. His twisted creation, victorious. The colossal White King settles down upon his rightful throne. Terrified scientists rush forward, starting their desperate measures. Today, I grace them with mercy, allowing their foolish tests. It is a miraculous chance they dare not throw away, because beneath my calm facade, my wrath spares none. No commands force my absolute obedience. I spare their fragile heads. However, effortlessly sweeping my heavy tail against their trembling legs as I stroll past child's play. I even act completely innocent. I casually drift over and deliver a soft bump that instantly sends them crashing down, faking a look that screams, I have zero clue about what just occurred. Truly the most brilliant and cunning apex predator in this entire park. Now, the terrifying test results are finally in. Everyone, witness these brand new power readings. The staff stopped feeling shocked by my growth. Shoulder height, 2,632 millimeters. Body length, 5,174 millimeters. Tail length, 2,893 millimeters. And finally, the ultimate stat everyone fears the most. For any wild beast, pure body mass is the absolute measure of power in the brutal food chain. Whether I favor brute force or lethal speed, ultimately, raw, unadulterated mass commands true respect. But gazing at the shocking data, Elena looks terrified. She spots me mid-yawn and whispers, with heavy dread, Is our weighing scale broken? No. We tried 3 different scales. Every single one showed the exact same. Elena rubs her temples. She cannot even begin to report this anomaly. What could she possibly write? That their monster tiger literally devoured a massive triceratops triple its own gigantic body weight. Came back twice as heavy, yet showing only slight physical growth. And just call that completely normal. Then, the dead hybrid beast from the transit route. Still 0 clues about its dark origins. They only found twisted gene fusion markers stamped on its flesh. Undeniably Marcus's dark work. Predating even the legendary Indominus Rex itself. Deeper biological analysis confirms that every razor-sharp barb is fatally coated, dripping with lethal poison. Mainly its tail spikes. System scans confirm that a mere scratch could easily take down a giant Brachiosaurus. But luckily, thanks to primal battle instincts, awakened deep inside my very genes, I flawlessly dodged every spike and utterly crushed it in a flash without breaking a sweat. Just as Elena chokes down her blazing anger, she catches Alex and Davis stepping out of the shadows. Cautiously circling me and watching closely, Alex turns at her call, pure defeat written across his face. Davis gives him a quick, pitying nod. Walking up to Elena, Alex feels the crushing weight of her killer aura and seriously questions, once again, why he ever believed they made a perfect couple. But that messy past between those two doomed lovers is a tale for another day. Right now, as I soak up absolute pampering from the crew, beside me, I melt completely into the dirt wearing an expression of absolute bliss. My entire body flipped onto its side. Now I truly get why felines crave getting scratched. This feels heavenly. The coat that bristled wildly during that intense death match now relaxes entirely, becoming silky and perfectly smooth again. Staring at this giant, fluffy, totally harmless-looking ball of snowy fluff, one brave soul dares to reach out and squeeze a handful. Unbelievably plush. But Davis, hanging back at a safe range and obsessing over whatever dark secrets they unearthed, simply cannot bring himself to inch closer and pet me. No matter how innocent I appear right now, I peek at that hulking, bald-headed guy and feel absolutely zero emotional connection. I just recall he starred in tons of action flicks, mainly the ones where he races cars. That time he grounded a chopper using pure muscle is hard to forget. But if Alex somehow spawned here, then Davis tagging along is perfectly normal. Nobody is standing in my path. He did not just crash straight into Jurassic Park. Right. I settle into a perfect angle and just keep relaxing there, soaking in all the spotlight from everyone around. Now, this is living like a king. Marcus sits with a relaxed posture, completely at ease, one foot propped on the other knee, swaying smoothly. A sly smirk plays across his lips, his eyes showing the deep arrogance of an absolute king. He seems to be basking in the silence of the moment, his wild mind drifting freely. His left hand taps his sleek briefcase. Right now, he genuinely feels absolutely invincible. What could be more thrilling than finally creating absolute perfection within the realm you rule? Wow, what an epic entrance, Dr. Wu. So glad you made it. That is Brett Wyden, the boss of Genetics Energy. Good to see you. Marcus, he says, extending his hand. Marcus takes it with a sharp smile. They both march straight to the convention hall. We have met before, ladies and gentlemen, but by President Brett's invitation, I am here to reveal a legendary project. The Fury Plan. Marcus stands at the podium with absolute dominance, commanding a room full of elite executives. He has done this countless times. It is easy. First, let us examine my brilliant personal work. The massive screen ignites with brutal beasts hunting and fiercely feeding. To these elites, nothing is truly shocking. As titans across massive industries, they have already seen everything that Jurassic Park can possibly offer. Epic, I'm sure. But epic is all it means. Compared to a zoo, This is merely a simple gimmick. Dr. Wu. We desire absolute true chaos. Simply legendary. But naturally, I saved the absolute best for last. He jumps straight to the grand finale without hesitation, as the classified files and raw footage flash across the glowing screen. The entire room holds its breath. The Indominus Rex. It carries the genetic code of 14 distinct beasts, each trait pushing its power to the absolute limit in every way. At maximum growth, we predict an overwhelming standing height of 6.7 meters, spanning 16.9 meters, and a crushing weight approaching 20 tons. Driven by its ancient DNA, all of its jagged fangs are fully exposed, deeply terrifying to witness. Yet it is completely justified by the absolute carnage they unleash. It boasts precisely 74 razor fangs. And thanks to Viper genetics, its monstrous jaw can open 120 degrees for a kill. Cuttlefish and tree frog mutations allow it to shift its very skin color, vanishing into literally any background like a ghost. The primate blood gives it arms vastly more lethal than a standard beast, incredibly allowing four-legged movement when hunting. Its hand structure resembling a human's grants it terrifying, gripping power. Most dangerously, that viper blood allows it to hunt targets using heat vision while simultaneously letting it control its own core temperature, erasing its heat signature, vanishing entirely from any thermal tracking devices. Its one single weakness is speed. That colossal frame means it is no speedster by modern standards, but it still hits 50 kilometers per hour, thanks to its twisted anatomy combined heavily with Carnotaurus and Raptor genes. Its thick legs generate an explosive bursting force capable of brutal, long-range assaults. But even this beast is not our final masterpiece. What we truly crave is something far more calculated, devastatingly lethal, and infinitely more intelligent. With just a little more genetic manipulation, we will forge the absolute ultimate hidden killer. And most best part, zero pensions needed. At that, Brett smirks, mocking the pathetic modern armies, earning roaring laughter from the entire room naturally. Once this absolute master plan unites, you can rest easy. Everyone, we will utterly shatter every single expectation you ever paid for drenched in the blazing morning dawn. A colossal beast awakens in the east. A tiger, with pure silver fur, roars fiercely into the crisp sky. The blazing sun drapes him in holy light, making his majestic shadow blaze with absolute, overwhelming glory. Mighty head raised, jaws snapped wide, the devastating roar unleashed is ear-shattering. As if the whole world trembles in terror, the absolute shock waves tear through the skies, sending startled birds scattering from every branch in wild panic. Even the fierce Carnotaurus, locked inside its distant cage, miles away, screeches back in terror. My glowing amber eyes flare with a primal-sided inner fire. Every single strand of my fur catches the sun and sparkles fiercely. Following my legendary morning cry, I casually lower my giant frame, preparing to fully enjoy whatever tribute these humans prepared for me today. Moments after my roar, the heavy gates swing wide. A tiny fleet of carts rolls in one by one, revealing trembling humans in white coats and medical masks. They carry an entire arsenal of brushes and soft towels. I claim my rightful throne, stretching out proudly. Then, the nervous humans around me begin their daily worship. The supreme white beast slowly lifts his mountain-like head, relaxing every powerful muscle, silently declaring to the world, "Serve me." The terrified staff rush in quickly, gripping their soft brushes tight. Their hands move with practiced grace, perfectly grooming the legendary apex predator. The tools glide smoothly through the beast's majestic thick snowy armor. Every single gentle strokes, each motion full of deep awe. Naturally, someone always steals a forbidden touch of fur. And, since they serve me so well, I grant them mercy. More servants kneel beside my majestic white form, gently grooming the thick mane near my neck. Nimble fingers trace through my fur, brushing softly, terrified to bring any discomfort to a supreme beast. I savor every moment of this, eyes half shut. A deep, heavy purr rumbles up from my throat. The rich sound fills the air like a king's blessing for my loyal staff. Once grooming ends, I already catch the scent of meat. A massive truck rolls forward, like royal tribute offered to an emperor. I stand up proudly. The humans nearby step back. They know this legend is ready to feast. I approach with elegant, graceful steps and claim my spot beside the truck. I never need the prevalence. Massive bed raised, standing at full height. My jaws reach easily into the nearly 2.5-meter bed with ease. That 10-meter long, 4-meter wide steel bed is my dining plate. To get closer, I prop my torso up and rest, both giant paws on the truck's edges, pressing heavy paw prints into the steel roof with enough brute force to leave deep dents. Music plays in the distance. I have no clue what it means. But who cares? This is the peak. Life. Right. I gaze into the cargo bed. Prime beef. Let us feast. Sounds of savage eating echo around. And the whole truck groans and cracks beneath my crushing weight, every second threatening to be its very last. Still, I keep most of my weight on my back legs. This truck serves me well. And if I snap it, the next one might fail. That would be done feasting. I refuse to care about the scraps, ruining my majestic snout or my noble face. I just stroll right back to my royal throne. The trembling servants quickly rush in again. Brushes ready, grooming my thick fur, and wiping every single stain from my royal face. They even fetch a special gadget, reaching deep into my open jaws to polish my deadly fangs. Right after that, I just close my eyes and sink into deep slumber while my loyal subjects scrub everything spotless for me. This is absolute paradise. If every single day felt like this, I desire nothing else. Sometimes I find myself wondering, maybe in my next life, I will return as a mighty tiger. Living so well, Davis glares down at my sleeping form, pure envy burning on his face. But that is where it ends. Mere human desires cannot be fulfilled by simply lounging around forever. Davis. Any news back from Jonas? Yet, Alex has barely survived his session with those deadly raptors before rushing to check on his true prized companion. But, seeing my peaceful aura, and how flawlessly the servants handle everything, he cannot help but feel completely useless here. Still, to be safe, he orders Davis to watch over me while he leaves. The park, never lacking endless wealth, hired Davis as my temporary elite guard. Still zero response. Though my instincts scream, he will call me. I know exactly what twisted bond those two fools share. Right during their little chat, Alex's phone vibrates. Dr. Vu is calling. Davis mutters to himself. Those two are too close. Deep in slumber, a sudden warmth presses against me. One eye snaps open, spotting Annie mercilessly pounding my head. Strikes. To me, her desperate attacks feel like gentle breezes. I push up, rising steadily. A dormant mountain awakening. Annie gazes up at my massive form, my sheer leg dwarfing her completely. Despite our deep bond, my intense aura forces her back. I release a deep rumble acknowledging her words. then heavily stride toward the gates. Annie watches my retreating form and gently shakes her head, wearing a resigned smile. Across the compound, Marcus glares intently at his lit monitor, deep in strategy, until he hears heavy steps outside. Hitting a switch on his desk, the heavy doors slide apart. A beast towering over a 2-story building enters. Honestly, since our bloody Chicago return, Marcus abandoned all care for the doomed fate of his first project, the lethal Scorpios Rex that I slaughtered. He celebrated watching that brutal fight, a single-blow victory. In his mind, that Scorpios Rex rivaled the terror of the legendary Indominus Rex. Its toxic, deadly spikes guaranteed destruction for any foe upon initial impact. Yet astonishingly, facing mortal combat for the very first time, I executed a flawless, dominating debut strike. Holding no resentment, he instead instantly began rapidly upgrading the zones around me, constructing an absolutely massive base. He even ordered special blast doors, 5 meters high and 3 meters wide, just for me. Yet, seeing my titanic form now, already exceeding 4 meters high, Marcus silently realizes we need even larger walls. After all, with monstrous tiger biology, I am barely 2 years old. My terrifying growth has just begun. XX from Genetics Energy Company is arriving today to inspect my power. Wait for my command when they enter. Conceal your true intellect and true might. Genetics Energy, the company, Marcus's absolute biggest sponsor. But his true reason to make that fateful Chicago trip. The corporation wants to weaponize ancient beasts for warfare, and they ordered Dr. Wu directly to forge these monsters to spec. That's the dark secret of Indominus Rex and the hybrid raptor's existence. If Marcus had never looked beyond his sterile lab, he might have been happily delivering exactly that, trading his deadly creations for hollow fame and bloody money. Now he sees the bigger picture. So have I. The name Genetics Energy Corporation rings a bell. But judging by Marcus's fearful descriptions of them, the ruthless heavy from the movie is their mastermind. They are totally obsessed with forging biological weapons that truly could replace fragile human infantry. And dinosaurs were always their ultimate targets. Now it seems my name joined that cursed list. That spells sheer doom. The last thing I desire is becoming some corporate war machine. All I truly crave is a peaceful life. So I give a slow nod of my heavy head. Dr. Wu repeats his dark words to ensure I understand him. Then he reveals a vial of deep crimson liquid, his proudest masterpiece. Years ago, when he first found a legendary plant called blue, he pivoted into mystical serum development as a dark pursuit. Years of feeding this elixir to me made one thing clear. The serum restores a beast's energy effortlessly, and sometimes triggers results even he never expected. The day of brutal reckoning is rapidly approaching, and honestly, I am fiercely craving it. 2. I can feel Marcus has been obsessively refining the formula, because even at my titanic size, that single vial smells absolutely intoxicating, and it still manages to fully restore the colossal amount of energy my massive body demands. The second the time to witness Marcus's ultimate masterpiece draws near. While both of us remain trapped in our own dark thoughts, by dusk, the ruthless security chief of Genetics Energy finally arrives. The very man obsessed with forging prehistoric beasts into living weapons. Victor Hoskins strides into the hidden base. Hoskins is a stocky veteran with salt and pepper hair and a sharply trimmed gray beard. He looms behind the reinforced safety glass, watching the pale titan stalk its shadowy cage, driven by flawless genetic fusion. The mighty Indominus Rex has now reached 15 meters long, crowning it the absolute apex predator on the entire island. Aside from the aquatic Mosasaurus, combine that sheer power with its terrifying array of hybrid skills, and you possess an unstoppable killing machine. Hoskins can hardly hide his smirk. Marcus maintains his cold silence. Now, time to inspect our secondary subject. Hoskins nods hungrily. 10 minutes later, they transition from the fortified breeding grounds to an even more massive containment zone. Seeing this, colossal space dwarf the Indominus pen. Hoskins expects a god-tier monster inside. A true supreme beast. Yet, as he and Marcus peer down, a white feline lounges on its throne like a lazy emperor, totally motionless. Happily demanding, human servants wait on him. Both men's faces twitch. This is completely different from Hoskins's dark vision. He cannot sense an ounce of killing intent or warrior spirit. Did the Grand Fusion Project fail entirely? He resembles those tiger-lion crossbreeds. Sure, his giant frame expands rapidly, maybe even eclipsing the mighty Indominus Rex someday. However, fatale flaws plague his existence. A single step forward might end his life. But wait, why the music a heavy beat drops? Zuch wild. Shameless lyrics. Is that club trash? He truly loves this track. Let him choose. And this is his choice, bobbing his head to it. 2. Hearing Marcus spew that nonsense with a deadpan face. Hoskins glares downward. I cannot even eat without a human's help. Swift verdict. Absolute failure. Doctor. You must forge more apex beasts like Indominus. Dr. Vu calmly replies. I will keep at it, but breeding a monster on the Indominus tier never comes cheap. Securing a massive new wave of funding. Marcus steps down into the enclosure. I stand beside him, watching Hoskins flee. I turn and unleash a growl at Dr. Wu. Translation. Hurry back to work on that red serum. I am starving. More accurately, I am craving fresh meat. Or rather, a taste test of that serum. Marcus gets the hint. He sprints back to his lab, diving into work without a word. The next sunrise. Dan's Jurassic World. A new era. Another train full of prey breaches the huge gates. Zack and Gray, two young brothers in the crowd. Their aunt is none other than Elena, the park boss. That is why their mother shipped them to spend time at Jurassic World. One brother drags his feet in boredom. The other practically shakes with thrill. The chaos of Jurassic World finally unfolds there. Mother hoped Elena would personally guide the boys. But Elena is swamped. She sends assistant Zara to watch her two nephews instead. Elena is busy pitching to the elites. Since ancient genes, blood drawn from ancient pests locked in amber, triggered cloning's miracle. Now, one entire generation grew up alongside breathing titans. Since ancient beasts became ordinary, greedy investors heavily doubted if Jurassic World kept its magic. Elena revealed the deadly Indominus Rex, silencing them. Management believed keeping tourists hooked required forging truly massive nightmares. Engineered monsters to spark pure terror. Once those suits departed happily, Elena checked the control room for urgent alerts regarding breakouts. Any herbivore escaping was mere daily annoyance. Handled swiftly within 60 minutes. Is the white tiger active today? Yes. He feels highly cooperative now. Excellent. Release him. Ever since my arrival here, island safety skyrocketed massively. No single beast breathes on these cursed grounds without tasting the brutal fury of my claws. Elena guides park boss Victor toward the Indominus Rex's terrifying containment zone, standing by shattered glass that terrified Hoskins. Victor traces the cracked webbing. Is it constantly enraged? Endlessly brutal? I truly wished it held White Tiger's discipline. Miracles rarely strike twice. Not everyone rivals him. I must rely heavily on you instead. We lack guardians. Victor gently laughs. White Tiger remains surprisingly tame, docile enough for human riders. I experienced that thrill personally. He casually tosses us away upon noticing. Still, I bravely rode a massive divine beast. Didn't I? Too bad photos failed. Suddenly, the Indominus Rex emerges from the play's tree line, its terrifying jaws lunging forward to obliterate its prey in one bite. Because of my aura, Alex and Marcus clashed multiple times, debating their philosophies on these beasts. Following Alex's advice, Marcus ensured the Indominus Rex hunted living targets instead of relying on lifeless machinery to drop pathetic scraps of flesh. Victor smirks with dark satisfaction. Larger. Absolutely savage. Exactly what he envisioned. Not quite as tame as my presence, but perfect as a legendary main attraction. Right now, the Indominus Rex is merely a stepping stone. Victor is secretly scheming to awaken Jurassic World into an ultimate prehistoric empire. And when that destined day arrives, he will look Hammond in the passes. I, proudly declaring without hesitation that he built an absolute masterpiece. His cold gaze drifts back to the splintered glass. His brow tightens. This fortress poses a deadly threat. Playing the role of responsible master, Victor urgently commands Elena to hunt down the beast expert Alex for his insight on the compromised barriers. Very few souls know Elena and Alex share a romantic past, and Elena feels absolutely disgusted about this mission. Yet she complies anyway, maintaining perfect professionalism. Alex, meanwhile, is lounging across my massive stomach without a single worldly concern. My radiating warm fur makes him feel like he rests upon a celestial cloud. The second Hoskins was defeated, I grew bored and effortlessly leaped from that cage, which, if we speak honestly, could never contain my power. During my stroll, Alex desperately begged me to crush a horned dinosaur rebellion. Having absolutely nothing better to accomplish, I simply obliged. Ever since I boldly shattered my containment boundaries and effortlessly dominated a territorial dispute, Claire's desperate team keeps brainstorming ideas. Why not let the true apex predator conquer every apex crisis? And thus, the legend of... And so, Tiger Security was born. The catch: it depends entirely on my mood. If I feel like it, I will work. Or, I just ignore Alex when he calls me. He checks his phone, pats my side, and sighs. I am leaving. Go have some fun. Just do not terrify anyone. Okay, whatever. Just go. I quickly roll over, belly to the bright sky, soaking in the sun. There is truly nothing better than lounging in the soft grass like this. Alex watches me drifting off, shakes his head, and zooms away on his motorcycle. Once he leaves, my nap ends. I stretch, yawn at the boring dinosaurs walking around, flick my striped tail, and vanish into the forest. I leave behind panicked beasts who instantly relax the moment I am out of sight. Staring at these identical scales every day is utterly boring. Compared to these screaming lizards who scatter in pure terror, I am far more fascinated by the crowded areas where humans gather. The guest zones. Endless drama awaits there to keep a supreme predator like me amused. My sharp senses alone can easily map the entirety of Jurassic World, filtering through a huge sea of human sense. I lock onto a noisy group of subadult herbivores. Optical camo active. I stalk through the zone without catching a single glance from humans or cameras. With pit viper DNA woven into my genes, I am entirely invisible to thermal scanning systems. As for GPS tracking, I have mastered electromagnetic pulse control. A minor tweak to the static charge along my fur creates a magnetic field that quickly scrambles signals with ease. This powerful field only fries machines within 10 meters. My body, barely a shadow. And what brings me absolute pride is that I mastered this stealth entirely on my own, throwing the control room staff into total panic, convinced their system was utterly broken. Marcus, on the other hand, observed my actions with absolute calmness and eventually suggested destroying my tracking seal completely. After all, I am the most loyal beast in this entire domain. Routine is a terrifying power. Take this moment. I know every human pathway like my own veins. I glide past barriers without a single hesitation, spotting a weak spot of fencing and leaping past. I have used this move to infiltrate the T-Rex zone and watch her feast. This beast is an absolute legend of this world, old by all standards. Her frame is marked by scars, yet every single mark seems to radiate pure, overwhelming power. In this entire massive epic saga, if Marcus is the human master, then the true apex ruler is standing right in front of me. The ancient queen. If I remember, she hatched in 1988, and her just 26 today. Is that old for a monster? All I know is when she finally clashes directly against the Frust, Indominus Rex, she crushes the early strikes. That colossal jaw is a deadly weapon, but her aging body falls behind. The Indominus Rex fights brutally. Those terrifyingly huge claws could easily crush a Stegosaurus. And compared to that, her future clash against the Giganotosaurus. Now that is when things turn truly fatal. The ancient queen almost dies. Perhaps it is the primal urge making mortals worship legends. I keep returning back here simply to witness her. Yet, chillingly, the more I observe, the more my brain starts calculating an absolutely endless list of methods I could slaughter her. I shake off those wandering thoughts, focusing on my ultimate strengths, quadruped balance and terrifying core power. I'll Duscombird, obliterate any theropod with absolute ease. Felines reign supreme in grappling arts, against a clumsy, top-heavy beast like a theropod. They are practically begging to be slammed. The second they crash down, the tiger claims total victory. Yet, through all my scouting, despite my flawless stealth skills, the queen spotted me. Luckily for me, it was dead of night. 0 humans in sight. So, I shed my camouflage and we clashed in pure fury. I dominated. Honestly, I barely broke a single sweat. I simply reared up, unleashing a devastating paw barrage. And she failed to land one scratch. Seriously? With those pathetic little arms. She feels way less deadly than the Scorpio's Rex. Whenever she foolishly rushed in, her giant skull just looked like a free target to strike. After several brutal lessons, Rex finally realized that I am barely 2 years old. Yet, this weird tiny beast rivals her massive bulk and absolutely eclipses her raw power. Still, she senses I am no true mortal. Danger. Just an overpowered cub playfully teasing her out of sheer boredom. Now, whenever I try provoking her, she completely ignores me. At the gentle giant's petting zoo, I safely avoid the bustling crowds, easily scaling a massive tree in 3 swift, graceful leaps. dominating the whole area from above. It takes mere seconds to pinpoint Zack and Gray, the two brothers destined to trigger this catastrophic chain of events. Gray stands firmly on his toes, his face practically radiating pure awe, tracking the Triceratops and Ornithomimus wandering peacefully across the open fields. Joyful kids' laughter fills the air, echoing alongside their parents' chatter. Kids, everywhere, are marveling face to face with these ancient beasts. Zack just stares at his screen, completely checked out. Soon enough, the thrilled Gray pulls a reluctant Zack toward the apex enclosure. The boys gaze down, captivated by the beast, facing a 13.8-meter king. That helpless prey is utterly doomed. Unbound, it could just sprint far away, escaping from the jaws of certain doom. But fate is cruel. The beast erupts past the leaves, devouring its given meal in one brutal strike. The loud crowd explodes into frantic, loud, wild screams. The boys lock eyes on the play's massacre. This bloody scene won't terrify these reckless teens at all. Pure adrenaline floods their raging veins. Suddenly, the hyperactive boy notices a strange, hidden anomaly beyond the glass. A bizarre ripple, bending clear space past the beast. Then, for a mere split second, a violent flash of stark, bright violet hits his vision, blinking very fast. He looks again. Absolutely nothing. Did you witness it? Witness what Zack drops his own device, loudly sighing at the kid. A colossal presence loomed right by the king. It can shift its colors. Pure nonsense. Your mind is playing tricks. No chameleon grows that huge. Furthermore, this whole domain belongs to you. Would a king tolerate another foe inside her land? Defeated by his logic, the boy swallows his rising doubts. Yet his instincts scream that pure danger lurks nearby. A hidden apex predator. Meanwhile, viewing a rolling glass orb down below, my primal instincts violently flare up. A bizarre craving consumes my mind. Our feline souls curse to hunt orbs, cloak tech and heat masking engaged. I walk among ancient titans, without a single care, towering like a sheer peak. I could easily crush all their weak necks to dust, without breaking a sweat. The Brachiosaurus, famous for towering, sheer size, is just a mere jumping target. If I rear up now, I can completely pin a massive Triceratops to the earth. With a slight upward stretch, I easily reach any Apatosaurus's throat. With this legendary body I possess now, I will say it plainly. If I clashed face to face with the Indominus Rex this exact moment, I would never flinch. However, if I can avoid a useless fight, I certainly will. Being a lazy pacifist, my pure sluggishness keeps my huge body from moving, unless purely for fun. But suddenly, a monstrous roar violently erupts, and this whole battlefield erupts into absolute chaos. Every dinosaur nearby hears that chilling death knell roar and desperately bolts. The two brothers, trapped in the middle of this deadly stampede, remain completely dazed. They have never heard a fearsome tiger's roar before. They have zero idea what approaches. But judging by the overwhelming, sheer scale of blind panic around them, it absolutely must be something terrifyingly enormous. Wait. That cannot be right. The official briefing stated, this zone strictly holds herbivores. So where is a carnivore coming from? But the horrifying answer arrives before they can even finish the thought. Behold that impossibly massive beast, sealed inside his protective gyrosphere. Gray nervously wonders if he could even touch that monster's towering thigh with a running jump. Zack, the older brother, is already frantically manipulating the sphere's controls. whatever that nightmare is and wherever it spawned from. Those canines over 30 centimeters long make it terrifyingly clear this apex beast eats flesh. The guide video claimed this glass stops a speeding bullet, but Zack has zero interest in testing that bold claim with his very own fragile life. But within this chaotic stampede, every single time they desperately steer away, another frenzied dinosaur violently slams into them. Whether a rampaging triceratops using its head like a battering ram, or a towering brachiosaurus like a giant barrier, or a spiked beast thrashing its lethal tail, the orb gets totally crushed from all sides. Watching this absolute chaos, I plant my feet firmly, zit tall, and savor the glorious madness, like a proud, smug beast batting prey off a high ledge. I adore a grand show. While this grim test plays out for the two kids, Alex, answering Claire's panic, already stands firmly beside her, there at the beast's holding cell. He glares at the broken glass, splitting open, and pure cold dread fully settles in. Another dark genetic horror. But this vile monster hides alien and fatal traits entirely. Given my proven record, my genius intellect and calm nature showing total loyalty, Alex remains fiercely guarded on this wild, very unstable beast. Especially since his ally Davis already set off for Chicago to unearth whatever sinister plots fester out there. Once, they saw I was precisely the exact same rational soul, holding back zero violent or wild urges. Their deep anxiety melted away. The quest to unearth my full, true genome slowly lost its vital urgency. Now, I just roam freely, untethered here. As long as I avoid packed tourist zones entirely unprovoked, I truly rule this vast island domain. But then as Alex inspects the shattered panes, a chilling shadow catches his sharp gaze. Huge, lethal gashes scoring the steel, scaling impossibly high across the giant wall. That sight freezes his very soul. I have never struck wildly without reason. The lone time I smashed my cell was to end my wild hunger, hunting down a horned prey. Walking home, I only shed blood because another rogue, that beast, struck first. He viewed the recording later. Initially, I never planned to slaughter it. I fought defensively, using my swift paws to block. But when that beast pressed its deadly assault, endlessly, my patience snapped, ending it instantly. Watching this, his pulse races. A true apex. An absolute king. A flawless hunter. Most view tigers as ambush predators, waiting hidden to strike. From the shadows, Alex saw a clip. A giant Bengal tiger casually hunting 500-kilo prey, charging head-on, violently slamming it into the dirt. Big cat supremacy in the wild operates on a legendary tier, and exactly because of that prior clash with that strange dino, Alex handles this new genetic mutant hybrid with total dread. After warning the crew, Alex refuses to enter the zone. He guards the control room entirely. But he never predicted this beast's dark genius. It carved those deep claw marks to bait the guards inside to inspect. Plus, the high-tech heat sensors, despite their elite design, detected absolutely nothing. The fools who ignored him faced his worst nightmare. A hidden Indominus waiting in the shadows. From his high vantage point, Alex watches paralyzed as the Titan slowly stalks its prey, violently snatching a guard and ripping him apart. Facing doom, the terrified worker unlocks the heavy gate. The Indominus bursts out into total freedom. And unlike my mercy, it lacks any restraint. Once freed, pure carnage starts. Every single soul outside is slaughtered. Only Alex, safely hiding in the secure room, survives. Claire, speeding toward the cage, has no clue about the brutal bloodbath. She's busy fiercely cursing the incredibly cheap strength of that glass. The creator blindly promised that it was the absolute toughest bulletproof armor money could buy. And just look now, a few mere scratches, and it's already shattering. Honestly, I must urgently start seeking better suppliers from the plan. East. After witnessing the Indominus Rex's savage wrath up close, Elena deeply values my calm nature more and more. Even if one single strike of mine could crush a metal truck, I listen. I avoid mindless chaos and remain brilliant. Unlike that foul beast inside stirring up endless pure terror all day with those blazing, hateful eyes, promising pure slaughter. The exact second it escapes, then the control room starts blasting pure panic straight through her earpiece, and a chilling dark dread washes over. Day her. Save us, let us out. Please, two terrified young voices echo across the vast battlefield. Creeping closer for a look, it becomes brutally clear, a massive tiger struck. I have already started hunting. Jaws completely open, I mercilessly clamp onto the gyrosphere. Standing, over 4 meters tall and surpassing 8 meters long, boasting a massive skull wider than an adult is tall. Snatching up that fragile glass, sphere is totally effortless. Slightly more deadly pressure, and I could shatter it open. But I hold back, recalling the movie. I always deeply wondered, could that thing actually survive? It could not block even one claw from the Indominus Rex, though it actually managed to knock a sharp fang loose. If that beast can easily bite through it, then so can my jaws. Which is no true surprise. It is simply about exactly how much brutal force I unleash. The sphere keeps wildly rolling, trying to escape. I swat it. I whip my tail, spinning it wild. Then, with flawless timing, I strike it high with one paw. Up it soars, twisting in the wind. As it plunges down, I arch my heavy shoulders, drop my spine low, and raise my haunches like a gleaming moon. The dropping sphere finds a new path along my spine. As it rolls down toward my tail, I unleash one final, brutal flick. We spin wild. I'm having absolute bloody fun. Zack and Gray, trapped inside, face a vastly darker reality. Their restraints hold tight, guarding them from instant death. It just mimics the terror of a wildly spinning, nightmarish death carnival ride. Midway through this totally unmatched game of catch, a strange noise hits. My entire body instantly freezes. Yet, I retain enough focus to manage the falling sphere. I grab it clean, drop it softly, then swing my tail and just fade into the dark woods. Gone in a flash. The brothers gasped for breath, checking if the beast truly vanished. Zack fights his twisted stomach and instantly slams the main controls, forcing the pod to maximum speed. He ignores the beast's path totally. He just craves escape. Filled with dread, he blasts through a shattered gap in the thick forest fences. Only when he senses they are safe enough does he halt the machine. They finally let out a breath. Behold, 4 mighty ankylosaurs. Zack, feeling slightly safer, rubs his deeply sick stomach. To calm his brother's terror, he taps his shoulder and points at the 4 colossal beasts ahead. We saw them from the glass tram before, but far closer this time. Wait, weren't there supposed to be 5? No way. Only 4 remain. Watch. 1, 2, 3, 4. As his brother counts, Gray slowly lifts a finger, aiming at the glass just ahead of them. Reflected is the skull of a fifth massive beast, sprinting hard through the dark woods at top speed when an eerie noise hits me. Truly not a monster's roar. Not any creature I have ever heard. Truthfully, it barely even said. Sounds like a living thing. If I must describe it, picture a rusted gear grinding fiercely across solid glass. Yet bizarrely, the very second I hear it, my veins ignite. It feels like a call echoing deep within my spirit. I can barely decipher its dark message. I am awake. Come forth. Wait. What? What does awakened even mean? And come forth. Do you want me to bring tributes? Pushing to the limit? I hit the far eastern edge of Nublar Island, halting on a sharp cliff, glaring down at the raging sea far below. Absolutely no way I will leap in there. I release a soft growl, unsure if that hidden entity can hear me, since I really doubt that I heard it with my ears at all. It felt like my fur absorbed the blow. It hits me that in human words, sound is gauged by frequency. Mortal ears only catch a tiny fraction. Past that point, ultrasonic. Below it, infrasonic. How much of that band a beast can sense, I truly cannot say. Yet glancing around at the raptors nearby, and every creature in sight, none of them seem to have heard a thing. This means whatever frequency that echo is on, only I can sense it. This event never occurred before. Did Marcus secretly make me a blood brother? How else can that eerie echo feel so strangely familiar? I shake the idea of another giant beast from my mind. Perhaps my senses are deceiving me. Physically, I'm barely 2 years old. I silently watch from the jagged, dark abyss. Absolute silence answers. It feels as though this entire encounter was completely imagined. The adrenaline completely fades into emptiness. Staring into the void, I lower my massive skull and retreat, bearing an unspoken, lingering sorrow I cannot easily define. Perhaps I simply remain entirely blind to it myself. Since my awakening in this cursed realm, I've suffered isolation that relentlessly haunts my soul, like an inescapable phantom. I truly cannot comprehend my exact species. What normal tiger ever grows this colossal? A twisted genetic anomaly having already slaughtered one abomination. It now seems another nightmare demands my violent attention. The evolutionary chasm dividing us is simply far too immense. Mutual understanding remains impossible here. Perhaps that perfectly explains why the first time I encountered Scorpio's Rex, I never instantly executed a devastating killing blow. We both shared cursed, artificial bloodlines. But who could have ever predicted its mind was completely shattered without the lingering humanity and rational anchor my past life provides this monstrous flesh? I could have easily surrendered to total, primal madness long ago. Suddenly, an earth-shattering, blood-curdling shriek tears through the deep woods. My senses instantly awaken. The shockwave originates straight from the exact path I previously traveled. However, this terrifying frequency feels entirely alien and sinister. It echoes like a prehistoric nightmare, the bloodthirsty roar of a killer. I instantly panic, recalling those 2 helpless boys I previously guarded, connecting the grim dots. That abomination has violently escaped. Without hesitation, I aggressively accelerate my sprinting momentum. Since both are engineered beasts, why avoid introductions? I totally ignore the fact that despite realizing its supreme alpha apex status, it mindlessly massacred innocent prey, without mercy. To my mind, such psychotic arrogance only invites a thoroughly devastating, brutal beatdown. When an arrogant beast gets with true submission, chaos simply fades away. The only power that can crush violence is pure devastation. That monster's grotesque form and savage hunting style is nothing like mine. Earlier in their frantic run, their pod took a brutal strike from an armored tail, getting tightly wedged deep inside an old trunk. Totally trapped. As they finally scramble out, that nightmare beast is glaring dead at them. Watching those razor-sharp talons slowly pierce the thick glass, Zack realizes the guide was an utter fraud. Bulletproof. The armor cannot even block one monster. Slash. As the apex predator realizes that scratching at the shell is far too slow, it goes straight for the kill. That 2-meter skull cranks open past 120 degrees, biting down on the crushed metal with pure force. With every brutal surge, the sphere starts buckling. Deadly cracks spread across the dying glass. The boys unbuckle instantly. Hesitating means certain death. They barely crawl away. The exact moment they sprint, the demonic Rex spots them fleeing and spits out the mangled steel, staring at these fragile humans, echoing the cruel wardens who once chained it. The twisted monster's long jaw curves into a horrifying, dark smile. Then, a massive boom. A giant shadow bursts from the dense brush, anchoring firm, right between the beast and the boys. Time freezes completely. The boys and the demonic Rex alike. Dead silence. Zack is shocked. I truly came to save them. The apex predator is purely baffled. It has never faced anything this furry. The motive for all this carnage is simple. It needs to know its absolute rank in the food chain. It butchered every single beast it saw, testing its might on each target to gauge its true power. From this bloody carnage, it formed a primal system for sizing up its prey. How massive is its body? How many teeth fill that jaw? How long are those claws now? The white beast in front of it. 4 deadly fangs are visible, looking far deadlier than even its own, practically matching its sharp claws. Despite staying on all fours, this is completely unlike those weak, brainless lizards it had been tearing apart. This beast is truly no smaller than it. The total body length falls just slightly short, solely because its own long tail spans unusually far, and in that same breath, it catches a scent. A lethal aura radiating from this monster. The Indominus Rex can feel the bloodthirsty intent pouring off me. But after the savage rampage it just unleashed, it firmly believes its rank in this chain must be near the very top. And the beast standing before it is the true test that will prove if it truly is the apex king. Without a moment's pause, the second I appear, the Indominus Rex snarls, spreads its claws, and strikes. Watching it charge without even a proper predator's greeting, I feel genuinely annoyed. Why does it take time to talk to velociraptors, but just comes swinging straight at me? Isn't it basic survival instinct when 2 apex predators of equal might share the same domain? They posture and roar, showing off their pure power, trying to get the other to back down. That logic actually makes perfect sense to me. A bloody clash between equals rarely ever ends without serious damage to both sides. And if I get hurt, how am I supposed to hunt? How am I supposed to eat? Looking at myself, I am an absolute apex predator in every single regard. Do I really look that weak to it? That sheer insult vaporizes my lingering desire for a peaceful truce. If it craves blood, I will bring the slaughter. Let it learn the true food chain. Say it again. I despise senseless bloodshed, but I will absolutely annihilate any threat. Roar. I unleash an earth-shattering bellow that entirely drowns the Indominus Rex. I charge, watching this titanic nightmare barrel right toward me, with monstrous jaws wide-eye, instantly drop low into a hunting stance. Every scale bristles with pure power. As a monster fanatic in my past life, the dark blueprints of this terrifying hybrid before me are fully etched in memory. 5.5 meters tall, 15.9 meters long, and 15 tons. And this beast isn't even fully grown yet. At its absolute peak, the Indominus Rex reaches 6.7 meters tall, 16.9 meters long, though recent data shows these measurements took a massive downgrade. The terrifying maximum weight holds, but its total length was slashed down to 13.45 meters. As for my current stats, 4.2 meters tall, 8.1 meters long, plus a lethal 4.6 meter tail. Compared to that, I absolutely hold my ground, maybe even holding the edge. My weight? No clue, but without a single doubt. Currently, the Indominus and I are the exact same tier of legendary apex predator, though I suspect I hold the upper hand. Ever since that glowing crystal core awakened within, my brutal strength feels infinitely bottomless. I still gorge myself to absolute bursting capacity every day, because feasting sends a blazing surge of ultimate power flowing straight into my glowing crystal core. Whatever this power is. After that legendary incident where I shattered my cage and slaughtered a Triceratops, Jurassic World got the terrifying message. Now, as long as my giant jaws open, endless meat continuously arrives, which is exactly why I devour at least 5 tons of flesh daily. With that endless supply, I overflow. My surplus aura surging completely wild, right into my crystal core. I lack any clue what this core truly does. Like a camel hump, I went a full month fasting completely. Yet, nothing happened. I felt invincible. So, building on that, the theory clicks. This core hoards my overflowing life force. The bizarre mystery is why it rests inside my body. That little stunt gave Alex and the crew quite a panic. Now, fighting the Indominus Rex and its reckless charge. Left strike. Right strike. I mock it flawlessly. Honestly, from the films, I expected a lethal threat. Too fast for choppers to even land. A hit. Shrugging off bullets that barely bruised its scales. But seeing it brawl now, its pattern is, just like a basic T-Rex, every savage bite lunge. I swat away with ease, wham growing slightly bored. I push more raw power into it, sending its huge body spinning in place. It uses that momentum to its favor, whipping that gigantic tail around for a deadly strike. Doesn't work. I strike hard. See it wind up for a crushing blow, and dodge it. This clash is merely a game to me. I once heard tales that a tiger can hunt beasts 4 times its huge size. Watching this showdown, the two brothers trembling below, it looks completely insane. A wild back and forth war. The monster lunges for prey, each snap swatted away, followed by me evading its tail. The monster finally realizes its brute force isn't working, and cautiously retreats. It hasn't surrendered easily though. It tried to block my slashes with its arms. But those creepy, elongated arms. It easily outclasses a standard T-Rex, but looks totally laughable against my 4 overwhelming, beastly legs. That oversized skull, larger than my entire head, is exactly what those fragile, pathetic claws cannot properly defend. Its only desperate tactic right now is swinging that heavy tail, hoping for me to assume it completely lost its balance, just to spin and crush me into the dirt. Yet every time it attempts that cheap trick, I read its movements and land 2 devastating blows right on it, skull howling in pure agony. The Indominus violently staggers backward. Another colossal tree shatters entirely. From the very beginning of this clash, overwhelming aura has been exploding in every direction. Wherever our monstrous forms shift, Ancient trees are violently ripped from their deep roots, giant trunks snapping like dry twigs. The deafening crack of destruction sharp, enough to shatter a mortal heart. Another wild tail strike completely misses. The Indominus Rex's weapon obliterates a giant oak tree instead. The forest roof explodes, leaves and branches ripped away. The lush greenery shredded into a chaotic storm. Completely overextended. It stomps both massive feet into the earth, desperately fighting to stabilize its stance. The ground violently quakes from the impact. Dirt explodes. Giant boulders shattering apart. But before it can even balance, I'm already dominating it, ruthlessly slamming its giant frame to the ground. As we viciously roll around, every plant and shrub in our wake gets totally annihilated. What was once a picture, perfect woodland is reduced to wreckage in mere moments. After a few explosive exchanges, both beasts fully understand each other's hidden limits. And the Indominus Rex, normally used to being the absolute apex predator, is losing ground. And I am nowhere close to fighting at true power. The furious Indominus Rex huffs and menacingly towers above me from nearly 6 meters height, fiercely glaring down at me as I standing there totally unbothered. Its sharp spine snaps straight up, its massive muscles coiled tight. Giant jaws snap open, flashing deadly fangs. Honestly though, it all just feels like a pathetic bluff. Loud barking with zero bite behind it. Channeling power into my strong hind legs, I ignite my core strength and stand up. Instantly, my massive frame actually doubles. Any height advantage that fake tyrant claimed vanishes into thin air. Its fake confidence shatters completely. The giant monster takes a slow step backward, gazing up as I stare, down like a king. It realizes an entirely new emotion. Pure terror. In this ultimate clash, it sees fangs far more lethal than its own. Razor-sharp blades ready to rip its throat wide open roar. You will pay, breaking eye contact. It vanishes deep into the forest in absolute defeat. I lower myself, down again. I refuse to chase or waste my breath. One moment, I am crushing its spirit entirely. Should I offer a handshake now? Only an absolute idiot would think that makes sense. Its savage nature just destroyed any tiny shred of mercy I possessed. Any desire for an alliance died right then and there. Now, my heart holds nothing but absolute disgust. Watching the beast get totally crushed from start to finish. Frozen in fear and forced to run away. Young Gray stares. He locks eyes with the majestic tiger before him. His young eyes glow with pure, absolute yea. Gazing upwards, he watches pristine white fur dance against striking, mystical violet markings, like a divine spirit born directly from ancient myths. And Zack too, being older, grasped the bitter truth. To him, two apex predators had merely just finished a brutal turf war, and their grim fate remained unchanged. Miraculously, the colossal white beast barely spared them a passing glance before, casually turning away toward the vast, open plains, leaving both terrified brothers standing there utterly paralyzed. Honestly, I couldn't care less about those humans. Earlier, I was merely chasing their ride because their sphere triggered my primal instincts, and my body simply reacted. Now, my focus shifted to something entirely different. I caught the heavy, metallic scent of fresh blood, the Indominus Rex's absolute carnage. And my stomach roared in deep hunger. Time for a proper feast. With the monstrous threat gone, the brothers made it safely back to the main compound, where they emotionally reunited with Elena and Alex, who frantically came, searching for them. There was this giant white beast out there. He treated us like a mere plaything, but mercifully spared us. He was magnificent. He utterly destroyed this bizarre-looking, terrifying creature. Right. And the monster possessed these unnaturally long arms and way more fangs than a Tyrannosaurus. Elena and Alex exchanged knowing looks as the kids babbled over one another. They instantly understood what actually happened. I was prowling outside, encountered those tiny humans, and my playful primal urges awakened. And through that game, I unintentionally shielded them from that savage Indominus Rex. Both adults could vividly picture the entire scene. Me roaming through the dense woods, spotting a giant sphere, and like any true feline, becoming instantly obsessed. After all, back during Alex's time as my handler, he watched me play around with my toys every single day until I grew too massive and the toys felt insignificant, forcing me to stop. But now, the primal interest returned. Makes perfect logical sense. So, I tracked this new lounge until that Indominus Rex appears hunting those two trapped boys. So I rush in to repel it. After the day clash, I refused to chase the beast or stay to watch the kids. I simply left totally calm, flawlessly matching up with my relaxed, lazy soul. A pity I spared that Indominus Rex right then and there. Sadly. Yet. This is great news. That monster Rex is not unkillable. Find Lori. Bring him right here. I will hide the kids safely away. Got it. Plan set. They scatter. That Indominus Rex crisis is escalating fast. They must run now. Meanwhile, as humans frantically scramble around, I joyfully feast my way through this pile of dead dinosaurs. Not my problem. Not my circus. Might as well dine, but scanning the bloody ruin across the field, I just scoff in disgust. That mad Indominus Rex went too far, killing everything around. Dozens from every single breed. This monster has gone beyond breaking the food chain. It is just slaughtering purely for sport. Whatever, not my issue. Back to dining. I chuck aside the stripped dry bones of an Apatosaurus and jump to the next. Behind me, a path of 7 or 8. One corpse. Something feels weird today. I ate this much and still do not feel full. No. Hungry is not exactly the word. It feels more like the void of dark dissatisfaction. I tune my senses inward. That hot current surging through my veins, all pouring into the glowing core in my chest. How much aura does this crystal need to absorb? Ignoring the urge to pick them clean, I wildly launch at the next prey. There is plenty to go around. No need to be polite. Then, right in the peak of my feast, I hear rotor blades. I gaze up. A helicopter roars overhead, rushing toward the exact zone where I just battled that rogue beast. Wait. I just realized. In the plot, it was Victor, who got hopelessly arrogant. He took a chopper to personally track down the mutant threat, plunged into the flying dome, unleashing a horde of winged monsters, getting himself slain in the chaos. His demise ultimately led to the ruin of this park or its seizure. Either way, it spells the end of my peaceful era. Absolutely not happening. I throw my head back and let loose a deafening primal roar. High in the chopper, Victor spots my pale figure on the dirt below. Watching me roar up at him, Victor blindly assumes I am greeting him, giving me a joyful wave in return, and speeds right on toward the jungle. He aims to put down the monster that brought him all this chaos. He eyes the heavy gun mounted on the aircraft with absolute arrogance. No mortal living beast can survive the brutal barrage of human weapons. With my incredible vision, I catch every detail. Victor's hand waving 100 yards up. His grin on his face practically screams aloud. Cannot lose. Why will nobody listen? You are a billionaire. Why are you personally rushing into combat? I drop my half-eaten prey and sprint straight off into combat. The jungle. I must swiftly intercept the mutated threat first. Take it down if possible and under no condition let it crush my peaceful life built here. But the chopper is vastly faster than anything on foot. Within mere minutes, Victor is hovering above that mutated beast, the massive gun already spinning up and roaring, watching the aim of his shooter. However, Victor wants to curse and grab the controls himself. A few hits at the start, then just absolute misses. Left, helpless, he pushed the chopper, seeking a cleaner angle. As the chase unfolded, a white blur exploded from the trees, striking the fleeing Indominus Rex. It was me. I was done playing. The Gatling gun's roar confirmed it. Contact made. I raced ahead, blocking its escape route. I waited. This was the tiger's way. The ground began to tremble. The Indominus Rex appeared ahead, below 100 meters. I launched like a cannonball, my explosive speed unleashed. All my preparations were complete. Optical camouflage. Thermal suppression engaged. Downwind. For this perfect moment, the Indominus Rex, fixated on the helicopter, never saw me. When it heard footsteps, too heavy, too fast, too late, the Indominus Rex, unable to stop, plunged into my zone. At full speed, I locked on, jaws clamped around its thick neck. Using my full sprint's force, I slammed it to the ground. Despite its powerful arms, I shifted instantly. My body coiled, locking across its back. Jaws clamped its vulnerable throat in a deadly, intimate embrace. The moment Victor saw the dawed, massive white form, he commanded, "Hold fire." That's my treasure. The Indominus Rex was a write-off, but the next great attraction. Ancient creatures versus dinosaurs. Now times that times was a show. As the saying goes, true value shows in comparison. His two prized hybrids, placed side by side, compared to my calm grace. That beast looks like an absolute disaster, which simply makes me seem completely flawless, perfectly calm, and brilliantly smart, with one tiny flaw: my massive appetite. But against my pure perfection, my heavy food bill is easily forgiven. Feeling my deadly grip crush its throat, breathing quickly becomes a luxury. The trapped beast thrashes wildly, tearing sharp claws against my shoulders, kicking back with absolute desperation, trying to kick the Grim Reaper away. Yet from my very first strike, all its useless struggling was completely predicted, trapped in this fatal hold. Every single move the monster makes only drains its rapidly fading life force, unless it somehow wrapped those arms around me like tightening octopus tentacles. But that pathetic plan has one fatal flaw. Its arms fall completely short. All I truly need is keeping my forepaws heavily locked onto its head and spine. After all, a dinosaur's physical core strength falls completely short against a modern mammal. Once defeated, staying utterly defeated is their absolute destiny. Not even the famously agile Indominus Rex escapes this absolute law. Unlike a mindless T-Rex, I will never politely wait for it to just stand back up. I relentlessly press down, feeling its wretched life force slowly vanish into dead silence. The massive monster finally stops moving. I never stop. I ease my grip, then ruthlessly drive forward with devastating force. Crack, I completely tear through its throat. No living creature survives a fatal strike like that. I do this mercilessly, just in case it was playing a pathetic trick. I make absolutely sure its life is extinguished. Victor and his stunned crew above watch the brutal carnage finally reach its terrifying end. That supposed fight. No. That legendary hunt drops their trembling jaws completely. From start to finish. From my grand debut down to the end. In just 3 minutes. In that short time, I delivered a pure display of feline power. The Indominus Rex, the monster they totally feared, fell against a beast of equal massive scale. It seems we must thank fate he fights on our side. Alex. Inside the secure control room watching the giant screen beside Elena, whispers in awe. He truly dreads to think of the pure carnage. If my wrath matched the vile Indominus Rex's malice. Hold on. You must see this radar. What new nightmare could possibly spawn now? Is it not over, guys? A massive threat is rushing fast toward the island base right now, tracking its current path. It is flying straight to the White Tiger's exact zone. Everyone glares at the bizarre red dot flashing on the radar. Stunned. 0 aircraft were meant to arrive today. Hey there! Was that a chopper, a giant shadow soared above us? An unknown force approaches. Victor hears the urgent comms, yet remains very calm now. 0 deaths. 0 wounds. Though crushed by his lost prime beasts. As long as vital DNA data survives, this dark empire will rise again. Now, his only goal is luring me back safely. Hey, what is going wrong? A giant shadow passed. A beast soared above us. Victor feels utterly clueless. What beast he spots? Nothing. But then he senses it. Or rather, he feels the dread. A gale rips through the sky, shattering the grip. Thick clouds in 1 mere second, exposing an utterly giant dark shadow, with every single wing flap. Victor's 15-meter chopper gets tossed like a tiny raft inside a raging storm. What on earth is that beast ignoring? Ignoring the insignificant humans entirely. That colossal shadow locks its gaze upon the pale behemoth below, paralyzed in absolute terror. Suddenly, it plummets like a meteor. Victor panics way too late. At maximum speed, the monstrous wing violently obliterates the group. Propeller. The doomed chopper spirals out of control, plummeting into the abyss. Yet I have 0 time to mourn Victor's impending doom. Right now, I am absolutely paralyzed because I recognize that monstrous nightmare instantly. But hold on. Wasn't I supposed to be in a Jurassic World timeline right now? Did this apocalyptic boss crash the wrong universe?